everybody. I'm back on VCTV. Today, this is Thursday, so it's a special episode on VCTV. We're going to discuss about NFT Investments and Insights. So it's a weekly series of programs to present the latest news and trends of NFT that are becoming the new wealth of artists, influencers, and celebrities. So, in the previous shows, we have described in detail what NFT are and how they work. So to watch the latest episodes, 1 second, you can visit our website. Sorry, can we have the website on display? www.latoken.com. Stroke VCTV stroke shows. So if you are interested to see all our past NFT shows, you can just go to their website and see them there. So in the past events, find the shows called NFT Investments and Insights. Today we are presenting alternative assets possible to tokenize under the Ethereum platform as NFTs. So it is very well known NFTs are becoming the new disruption in arts and music industries. Are there other options of uses of NFT, the non-fungible token? What are NFTs? I mean, very quickly, we know what NFTs are. Very quickly, a non-fungible token, NFT, is a data added to a file that creates a unique signature, right? It can be an image file, a song, a tweet, a text posted on a website, a physical item, and various other digital formats, right? So posts on social media making history are possible ways to tokenize it too. So here go, Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter and Square, proved that social media can also be sold as an NFT when he auctioned his first tweet as an NFT in March. His 15-year-old tweet posted in March 2016, in March 2006, that simply said, just letting up my Twitter, ended up making him a whopping $2.9 million when the bidding ended on the valuables platform. Short videos of oneself can be tokenized and auctioned as NFT as well. Supermodel. Next, we have the supermodel Kate Moss. Tokenized a video of herself sleeping. You can see Kate Moss on the right. Tokenized a video of herself sleeping, calling it Sleep with Kate. At last, the NFT made $17,000, which was donated to a nonprofit organization, Girls Talk. Okay, now speaking of models in fashion, on February 27, Design Studio, can we have the next slide, please? On February 27, Design Studio RTFKT, on the 18-year-old digital artist, Fuchsia's released a trio of doodled over Air Force One-esque virtual sneakers. Those are the virtual sneakers for around $3,000, $5,000, and even $10,000 that pop. 621 pairs of the digital shoes were purchased for a net sale of, oh my God, $3.1 million. That's correct. Those are the virtual sneakers. I wish I could have one. Alrighty, so moving on. Architecture or engineering drawings can potentially be an asset to tokenize as an NFT as well. The Switch, a monochrome 3D, which you can see on display, construction has received bids well excess of 1 million. Wow. Alrighty, so these were some of the examples of NFTs that have made huge amount of money. Speaking of alternative assets to be tokenized, today we are honored to host a new type of art and a great female artist behind it, Amrita Sethi. Amrita, hi, welcome.
Hi, Sunny. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you for that introduction.
Okay, Amrita is a British national with a global outlook and having worked around the world in senior positions like of HSBC, Barclays, and Zurich Insurance. Most recently, said Amrita has become something a trailblazer of NFTs. Amrita has earned the Outstanding Artist Award at World Art Dubai April 2019, and she was also featured on CNN and Forbes. Today we have her to learn more about her impressive art. Welcome, Amrita, to VCTV. This is the first time. This is the second time we are meeting virtually. The first time we met in Dubai at ARBSC Summit. It was a pleasure to have you meet you and have you now on VCTV. So Amrita, let's just start with introducing yourself. Why NFT? Why digital art? I mean, you worked in the banks, and from financial industry to NFT. How did you make that journey?
Yeah, so I mean, I was, as you were rightly saying, I haven't traditionally come from the artistic world. So I'm, originally born and brought up in Kenya. I'm of Indian origin, but third generation Indian Kenyan, and I've lived all around Africa. But I've also lived in the UK and Switzerland, and I now live in Dubai. So I've always had a very successful, or been grateful to have a very successful career in banking and insurance companies. And a couple of years ago, I decided to leave the, the corporate world, because I was always working for really big, large blue chip companies. And I decided to leave that world to more firstly, actually, for an entrepreneurial calling. But that's when I kind of rekindled my passion for art that I'd had when I was younger. And when I did that, I actually found my voice, and my new voice came in the shape of my new style of art that I created that hadn't existed before. And I created it and I coined it voice note art. And this was still all pre-NFTs. So really, what is voice note art? It's basically that interplay between, art, sound, and storytelling. So what I do is I first say a word, for example, it could be a city, it could be any word, it could be even your name, for example. So we can take your name, Sunny, and I capture the shape and structure of the sound wave. And then each of the lines of the sound wave, I draw to match the meaning of the word. And so what ends up happening is you have a voice note art, but it's something that, people see the images and they think, okay, well, that kind of looks, that just looks like a skyline, or that looks like images. And then when they realize that it's actually based on sounds, where people are like, wow, that's pretty cool. And at first, before I discovered NFTs, I needed to make sure that I had a way of playing back or linking the technology, I would say, with the art. So each artwork originally came with a QR code. And even then, this was pre-COVID. And everybody was just really interested in and liked the fact that the QR code was playing back the sound. And there was that, I would say, technology interplay between that and a 2D image, effectively, like a normal artwork. And then COVID hit. And then that's when it all kind of, I ended up taking it to the digital realm. And then that's when I found out about NFTs.
Right. So were you always sure about crypto? Because even though NFTs, it's a non-fungible token, but still the underlying technology is blockchain. So were you always sure, like, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to enter the crypto world, NFT, my digital art, my arts, my paintings, and this is where this is what is all planned, or was it because of the COVID that you had to switch?
So I think what happened is that because of COVID, what happened with that is that's when I kind of took everything a little bit more virtually. And I think the whole world kind of accelerated from a technology perspective. And I came across NFTs through a company, one of the marketplaces that I mainly use now, which is one called Terra Virtua. And the CEO introduced me to NFTs. And because I had a banking background, I would say, and in my banking background, I very much understood what blockchain technology was. I understood crypto, that being the asset class mined into the blockchain. So for me to understand that an NFT is an asset class such as art that's then mined into the blockchain, that gives it an individual coding and unique concept, which then makes it rare and scarce, which then kind of elevates digital art to a whole new level, I was like, okay, I fully understand and I get that. But I do understand that if you have always been maybe an artist right from the beginning, or you're not familiar with the tech side of things, that I can also understand that NFTs can be very scary to artists, especially traditional artists.
Right.
So I think that's where I was able to kind of make that connection much easier because of my financial background.
Okay, coming from banking, insurance industry to NFTs. But as you rightly said, Amrita, we have artists who are very traditional. They do not have, they do not know much about internet. They do not know much about NFTs, blockchain. So if they were to make, they were to obviously display their art in a digital form, because I have sort of use cases as well, like 2 famous artists from Europe. They're planning to NFT their art, the real art. So how to do that? How to go about it? I mean, they're not tech savvy. Forget about crypto and blockchain. They're not tech savvy in the first place. So how to go about that? How do you start?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of ways, but I think what my first thing that I would say is, most importantly, I think, artists shouldn't just jump on the bandwagon, as I would say. It's just the same thing. It's NFTs or digital art, I would say, is a new form, is a new medium of an art style. So just for example, like within the art world, you'll have, collage, acrylic, oil. And sometimes just because you're an oil artist or, oil painting artist doesn't necessarily mean you know how to be a collage or mosaic artist. And I think the same thing kind of applies here, that, it doesn't necessarily mean just because, you're a traditional artist that you have to go into digital art. Because with NFTs, I think what people want to see is that you're not just simply like, yes, okay, fine, you're kind of clicking a picture and taking it. But I think the important thing is to really understand what technology can do to elevate your art, to make it that much more interesting or that much more dynamic. And so you see, with my voice note art style, I feel that NFTs were really kind of very much like made for the way I do. Like that kind of brings out the story of my art even more, because as I was saying earlier, when I had the physical piece, I had to have a QR code that then plays the artwork, and you had to have a little bit of an explainer. Whereas what I did with NFTs is I was able then to animate, the sound wave, then the images of the sound, the artwork falling into place. And that already had one of the advantages of an NFT for my style of work. And then recently I took it one step further and created a 3D animation. So I wanted people to kind of go off the page and then literally through the art, like sound, into the art, and have these 3D elements. So what I would say is that I would say I've used NFTs as a way to elevate my art, tell a different story, create more of an experience. And I think that is something that, if you are thinking of becoming or going into NFT art, I would encourage artists to think what can make it more interesting, because otherwise, you then will just look like you're trying to just make money. And I think while money is important, it's, I think you're missing the point then of utilizing the NFT creativity to your, I'd say, creative advantage.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I mean, money is obviously, it just shouldn't look like you're just here for making money. Can we have a look at your work, Amrita? Sorry, guys, can we have a tour of that website, the video?
Yeah, I think they're just playing it. Is that the, yeah, we'll play it in a little bit. But I mean, I think also while they're getting it up is that, for me, I ended up, I was the first NFT artist in the UAE, right? And this was last year, and a lot of people didn't understand what NFTs were. Right. So I created a piece called What the NFT. In fact, the physical version is actually behind me. And it actually, you can see the sound wave saying, what the NFT. And what I wanted it to do was literally kind of play, like I wanted it, because I come from, I would say, the physical world, and I've gone into the virtual or the crypto world. So I wanted to create something that was, a way to explain to people, why, what, like, the journey of NFTs, a bit similar what you did at the start of it. In fact, maybe I can just share my screen to kind of, sort of take it from there. Yeah, okay, so I'll just share it here. And you can see the artwork here, right? So this is what the NFT.
Yes, yes, we can.
And so what I wanted to do here was I wanted to actually talk about, or give the people, I wanted it to serve as a bit of a history lesson, I would say, to those of you, for those people in the physical world who didn't understand what NFTs were. And then for those who've been in the, in the crypto world or the NFT world, it would serve more as like a reminder and a nice kind of like memory of the journey so far for NFTs. So, and I think this is also a great bridge, because I'm somebody of that bridge where I come from the physical world, but I moved for the virtual world. I understand that for a lot of the people who don't understand what NFTs are, this can be very confusing. But I also understand that for people who, who know about NFTs, they kind of love the fact that it's a celebration of where we've got to so far. So, for example, we've got here like the rare Pepes, you've got crypto kitties here. This is an image of Beeple, who sold his work for 69 million, and this is like the kind of pixelated, the 5,000 days that was, part of the thing. I put a cross here because it talked a lot about, he was talked about being like the new art god or the new art king. And it kind of said that there was a world before Beeple and after Beeple. And, everybody knows that when you're talking about dropping an NFT, you want the whales to come hunting and fishing for your NFTs. So these are also languages and, technology, terminologies that are used within the system. And then this is a abstract version of Nyan Cat, the piece of artwork that was sold for $600,000. This is Sophia, the AI robot. She did a piece of her, like a thing of her, and she, to sell it as an NFT. This is MetaKoven, who bought the $69 million. And what I like with MetaKoven is that, he revealed himself to be Indian, and I was able to identify with that as well. And then I wanted to put all the kind of questions, because, we're very used to the concept of it. But for people in the physical world, they even now, I still think people struggle with understanding, why would you buy art that you can't physically touch? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I do.
And so, so let me just come back to this on that. I can stop screen there. Yeah. So this kind of gives you an idea of the pieces that, like, that's what the NFT that I created. And I also forgot that there was like a Twitter sign, which you talked about earlier, Jack Dorsey's tweet. Yeah. And really that was the start of it. And then I created the 3D animated video from there.
Amrita, a quick question now that you've just talking about the physical world and the digital world. If somebody were to buy or invest into the real physical art, is that a possibility?
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I do believe that, I don't think that NFTs will replace physical pieces at all. I think it's it's just like a new genre, it's a new style. And I do think they're two separate asset classes. So, for example, like, you can buy my NFTs online, but I do create some original pieces. So, for example, the NFT, it's behind me, that's a physical piece. I've created a one-of-one which is behind me, and then that can be for sale. That is for sale, and then I've got, so, and there's a distinguishable difference, however, between because obviously before I became an NFT artist, I was creating physical, I would say, prints of my work. And I had some open edition, some limited edition. So my earliest stuff, I have had editions out there, which at the moment, going forward, I'm going to be either producing one-of-ones or limited editions. So those of them who are lucky enough to get hold of my earlier stuff before I became an NFT are lucky. And then, well, people just need to kind of, if they also do want a physical piece, then, then there'll only be those either a one-of-one piece or limited editions.
In terms of pricing, how different it is pricing a physical versus a digital art?
Well, I think I think within the digital art space, I think I'll talk about that first, because I think within the digital art, you've got a 2D, you've got the 2D image, for example. So, just, the actual artwork itself. Then I have something called the 2D animation, which, is, maybe I can kind of play it here. Let me see if I can, should I play it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Let me share my screen again.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So this is, oh, what's happened there? No, sorry, I'm playing the wrong one. Just bear with me, I'll stop sharing on that. I thought that was the right one. Bear with me. So the second type I have is a 2D animation, which I'm trying to show you at the moment, and that is really kind of, oh, here it is. That is really showing the telling the story effectively, right? Okay. So here we go. So this is it. So this kind of says the word Dubai, for example. And then each line of the sound wave, it matches the meaning of the word. And this is a style of animation. Dubai. That is obviously, so you could either have the 2D image, which is like this, or the animation, right? And then that's how, and then from there, after we do that I also then do the 3D animation. But the 3D animation takes quite a lot of time, a lot of work. I convert aspects all into 3D images, and then I kind of create a 30-second movie out of it, effectively. And that is at a much higher cost. So to kind of just to give you an idea at the moment, the 2Ds are like starting from 20,000. The animation, the 2D animations are about 50, and then up to 100 plus in terms of the 3D. But as I said, these are, I don't like to concentrate as much on the pricing, because, it's really, really important. It's more the fact that what I want to show people is the flexibility and the diversity in which, with NFTs, you can actually play around with. Because I think the problem with NFTs is that people are talking too much about the cost of them. They're talking too much about, prices. And I think people are forgetting what the art is all about. So, for example, recently, and I think as artists, artists traditionally in the world have two very important roles, I would say. The first role is always being able to capture the sign of the times, the story that's there. And then the second thing is also capturing or having a voice, or giving you the voice as an artist to maybe tell the stories of those who don't have a voice, and to also drive impact and change in the world. So that's kind of what I like to concentrate on. And I'd like to kind of take people on a journey with my art, rather than focusing on oh, well, it's gone for X amount or whatever the case is.
Absolutely. So last question, Amrita, before we wrap up, talking about investment, like for example, if you're going to invest into NFT, like the kind of art that we have behind you, obviously you are a big influencer in the space, but there are people who do not know if that piece of art, the NFT they are investing into or buying, is actually the real piece of art. So how do you differentiate between the real NFT and the fake NFT? If you know what I mean, the imitation.
No, I agree completely. I mean, I think I think with anything, it's to say, a lot of the time, whatever you would apply sometimes to the physical world, you should apply to the virtual world. So, for example, everybody's on social media these days. So, like, just even take myself. If a collector's looking to invest in someone or something, it's you need a combination of that person likes the art, they that struck a story with them, and they want to go and buy a piece because that sparks joy in their life. But secondly, also, if they then go and see, like, for example, they look at the artist's journey, where did they start with? Where did they go? Where are they going with it? These are things that collectors can look into. But also, knowing where the artist also hosts their stuff. So at the moment, I'm mainly with Terra Virtua. In the future, I will be with other marketplaces. But sometimes just also reaching out to that artist and saying, I saw your piece on OpenSea, or, drop them a media DM, or drop their media manager or their manager thing saying, this is it. Because a lot of the time, if you start to see where an artist normally holds itself or whatever, you can start to see that you can, most digital artists are alive and well, so you can kind of go back to them, or go to the gallery or represented by them. So I think just like you would do your due diligence on physical pieces, you can still do your due diligence on a virtual one.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amrita, for your time today, and thanks for sharing your journey with us, and obviously your work with us. And before investing into any NFTs, we have to do our due diligence, as rightly said by Amrita. So before we wrap up the show, let's have some closing thoughts from you. Amrita, over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate inviting me on today. I would say with NFTs, don't be skeptical, get involved, understand that they have huge, amazing creative potential. And I personally am really looking forward to see what kind of new genre of art will come out of this.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amrita, for being on VCTV, and hopefully we're going to have you back soon on VCTV. Take care and have a good day.
Yeah, you take care. Have a great day, everybody.
So viewers of VCTV, I'll be back again next Thursday on another episode of NFT Investment Insights with another NFT artist. Till then, take care of yourself and stay safe, and see you later. Bye-bye.